What is up, Impact Nation? Welcome to the newest episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Jason, coming live from St. Louis, Missouri. One of the wrestling meccas of the world, if you will. Today we're going over tonight's episode. Well, okay, so I'm going to be recording this tonight, right after this episode of Impact Wrestling. But you're going to see this tomorrow, Wednesday, the day after. Just to, I don't want to make any confusion amongst anybody. But man, ladies and gentlemen, what a fucking episode. Like, literally, this episode alone, I literally don't think I'm speaking in hyperbole. I don't believe I am speaking out of turn. I don't believe I'm over-exaggerating by saying this episode alone was better than AEW's Double or Nothing. And I did not dislike AEW's Double or Nothing. Okay? If you guys want to know my thoughts on it, and amongst many other things, go check out my review. It's not a full review, it's just more of a comparison of Impact and AEW. I kind of go over Double or Nothing. It's just more kind of just it is a quick overview. It's not a review, it's an overview. It's a generalization of that show, my thoughts on that show. And I didn't dislike that show. I said I gave it about like a B-, C+. This show was at least a B+. This show might have been a fucking A+. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry, it just was. This show did everything for me. It just did. And I'm not trying to be a homer at all. I'm really, really, really not. But, man, I watched the show by myself. Sorry if this camera kind of moves. I'm kind of re-maneuvering this. There we go. Alright, there we go. And, man. I had so much fun watching this, man. I was watching it by myself, but I was keeping in contact through some of my other friends that don't really watch Impact Wrestling. They mainly watch like WWE. A couple of them watch also AEW, and I'm like, I've been trying to get them so hard. Like, please give Impact a shot. And whenever, like, Rebellion came around, I was like, alright, here we go. Like, you guys have to watch the Rebellion shows. And things happened they couldn't watch. Like, okay. Then you gotta watch this show. Or, things happened they couldn't watch it. Whatever. Luckily, this was the show that they got to watch. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, at Anthem of Impact, on Twitter, go check my timeline out. It's a good follow, because here's the thing. I don't overly post on that. It's not my main Twitter. I have my own Twitter account that I have my own thing on, which I also don't really tweet on a whole lot either. But with my Anthem of Impact Twitter account, I only tweet about wrestling stuff. I only tweet about Impact stuff for the most part. So of course, you can catch me on Tuesdays tweeting a lot. Every once in a while, since I will try to watch AEW, you'll see me tweet about AEW. But if you were following me tonight, you'll know about a tweet that I sent out about, look, if you're looking at maybe bring people in, whether they watch wrestling but it's just not Impact, or they don't watch wrestling at all. Maybe they used to watch wrestling and now they don't. One good, easy way to bring them in is to do this, right? Drinking. It doesn't have to be, obviously it doesn't have to be Bush, but if you're drinking, or if you know a whole lot of people that like to drink, bring them in that way. I like to call it the wrestling drinking game, and I put about, some rules. So basically what I do is, okay, hey, look, if you want to watch this with me, that's cool. Do it like this. One, get some friends to watch. Two, get your beverages ready. Three, what you do is, so you start off with a match. And the easiest way to kind of point it out would be like just a one-on-one match. Everybody picks who they think is going to win. Now, match 1 is 1 drink. Match 2 is 2 drinks. Match 3 is 3 drinks. Match 4 is 4 drinks, and so on and so on. Now, if you're somebody that also likes to just kind of do like good things, and this is kind of more the way that I play it, and this is the version of it that I tweeted out, is whoever picks the loser, so like you're going into the same thing. So you're going into your match, and again, it's a one-on-one, so it's like Jake something versus Rohit Raju, and you guys pick Jake. Jake loses. Whoever picked Jake, so it's not drinks. The way I like to play it is shots. Right? Now, if it ends like in a DQ, a no contest, double count out, interference, whatever, then that's usually where I do the whole, okay, you just take like whatever drinks of beer. Usually if it's like a DQ, whoever picked the person to win and they were the cause of the DQ people then have to finish their drink. Which, by the way, yes. And then so on and so forth. So that's always a good fun thing. That's a good way to get people to kind of maybe people that aren't willing to give Impact Wrestling a try, maybe they will do it that way. I don't know. But let me give you guys my thoughts overall on tonight's episode. Let me start with the commentary team. Again, Madison and Josh do a very good job as a whole. The only thing that I don't like about the Josh and Madison combination is the whole, even though everybody pretty much knows that they're married, and there are times that they have even kind of admitted it on TV, they still kayfabe it to the audience, and it's just, it's one thing I've always hated about anytime Madison's in the ring, Dawn and Josh spend that whole match just Dawn ribbing Josh. Like, well, it's a good thing that you're talking shit about Madison, Josh, because Madison would have nothing to do with a guy like you. Wink, wink. And that kind of thing. And now it went from maybe like the 3 to 4 or 5 minutes of that match to 2 hours of the show. And they do have good chemistry, but I also don't like the constant wink wink. We're married, but we're not gonna pretend, or we're gonna pretend like we're not, and we're gonna constantly like shit on each other. Like, no, like I hate that. It's stupid. But anyway, let me pull up my notes here for the match for the whole night, and let me go over. But yeah, no, for real, like I said earlier, this whole night was, I think, this was pay-per-view quality, and it was definitely better than most of what AEW was giving us for fucking almost $50 on Saturday night. Now, I don't feel like I was cheated out of my $50 from Double or Nothing. So I'm not trying to say that at all. But I think tonight in 2 hours, man, so many good matches, good stories, good backstage segments, good things showing up. Let's just go ahead and break it down right now, all right? Let's do this. So we start off the night with Ace Austin versus Supermax. I started off tonight writing down my notes that I wouldn't mind seeing Supermax actually become a full-time member of the Impact Wrestling roster, if that's something that he is willing to, or that he wants to do. And I said that because he's somebody that I don't think, I don't see him as somebody that Impact's going to shove down our throats, put in place of somebody else, but I think he's that middle ground between the current young guys and guys like Rhino, Dreamer, RVD, Shamrock, those older legend type people. Like Hernandez is kind of right there in the middle, and he's a former TNA guy. A lot of his matches he can still go ish. He does seem like he's a little bit slower now. In this match, he had a couple of clunky moves. Couldn't fully sell or bump for what Ace was trying to do. They made a clever edit in the final in Ace's finisher to make it look like he really got it. And it was kind of obvious only because if you watch every week, Ace's finisher never gets a cut edit. And tonight he did. Again, I wouldn't mind Hernandez being part of the main roster because I think he could really develop, and maybe I don't think he wrestles enough right now, but I think if he was part of the full roster on a full-time basis, he would kind of shake off that ring rust a little bit more. But if he's going to do that at his age, I think he kind of develops a little bit more of that Conan look, the K-Doll look. Maybe go like that full Mexican Cholo look. Maybe go like the longer, instead of the pants, go that kind of just below the knee, like Shanghai, Dickies, super starched, short look. Get the plaid t-shirt over that wife beater. Go like the 3 to 4 buttons down, let the rest go. Because he's still jacked, but this has clearly been let go a little bit. Which, don't get me wrong, I would like to still look like that. But in a wrestling company, on a wrestling show, you don't really want to showcase what you kind of let go on your body. And so, yeah, I just think this match was good. This match was super physical, man. And Ace was a star in this. Yeah, I think Hernandez could become a permanent member of this Impact Wrestling roster. I just think he needs to update maybe his gimmick a little bit to kind of cover where he's at age-wise. And then I think you could make a really good indention in what this current Impact Wrestling product has to offer. But Ace Austin won, and all I could think of at that time was, yes, thank God. Because I think a dream match would be Ace Austin versus Michael Elgin. I do think that would be amazing. I think that would be a really, really, really good match. And, don't want to spoil anything for the end, but we'll figure that out later. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at my notes, but at one point during this match, we were talking about the old school TNA shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com, and they were going over some of the other ones like the North and the Beautiful People. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if I heard this right. Did Madison say one that she was proud to be a part of the Beautiful People, but also to be one of like the only one left in the ring, like still being able to wrestle in the ring? Because that was like I thought I could hear, and I tried to rewind live and then replay it, but for some reason when I went to go, I would rewind a little bit and then I would hit play and would play, but no audio would come through, which was really weird. So I never got to rehear that. So let me know down in the comments. Did Madison legit say that she's also proud that she's the only one from the Beautiful People still in the ring? Because that would be hilarious. Then we go to an on-camera set for Josh and Madison. And I don't have a whole lot to say about that, except for the fact that my man BQ with the Impact Lounge has kind of brought this up a little bit before. And now I have to definitely agree with him now. It's been like 4 or 5 weeks into these tapings. Josh and Madison need to change their fucking outfits. They're wearing the same outfit like 5 weeks in a row. Just change it up a little bit. Like, I get it. I think production is kind of saying, like, look, our fan base knows we take things, so it's not a big deal. And it isn't. It doesn't ruin, like, my whole viewership of this show. But sometimes it's just the little things. It shows that you guys care enough. That you're willing to change your outfits. Right? Like, you guys care enough now to change your outfits, to keep up the kayfabe, to keep up the illusion, and, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too picky about that, but I just feel like just change your outfits for your own cameras. Yeah. So after that, we get a Diener compound little kind of quick vid. This was absolutely hilarious. So we see, like, you know, they almost play it up like if you watch WrestleMania from WWE and the Last Ride thing. I mean, it looks just like the very beginning of that. You see a guy getting on a bike and riding by. And I don't know, I just found this very funny. He drives by and Diener's sitting on his whatever it was by the thing, and he drives by him and he's like, hey, you know, something about Last Ride. He kind of references the Last Ride kind of thing, and Americans, they always think they're a badass, and that was like so funny because he's so referencing that, you know. Oh yeah, okay. I mean, that was kind of a wink and a nod because, you know, Jeremy Borash was part of that, and AJ Styles, and I think Paradise, and a couple of those guys that have now moved over to the WWE were kind of part of that Last Ride Undertaker versus AJ Styles match. So they're, you know, an American Badass is an Undertaker reference. And so, like, you know, I really dug that. I thought it was funny. Then right after that, you see Swinger kind of talking up Chris Bay. Then we get the North in a car, limo, whatever you want to call it, driving up to the Dieners. And the whole time, like, all these different segments that they've done with the North up in Canada just even solidifies even more that Ethan Page is a fucking gem. Love Ethan Page. Love the whole Office reference. That whenever they showed up, you know, you see the one guy was like, yeah, okay, and then just like runs off because that was so like a Moe's at Dwight Schrute's beet farm. For instance, like whenever Jim and Pam, I think we're going there for like a bed and breakfast thing, and all of a sudden, like Mose talks to him and then just darts off into the field and runs off, and the same character did it like several times, and I thought it was funny. So then we go to Chris Bay versus Cousin Jake match. Hands down, I think Cousin Jake is going to be a world champion within like 2, maybe 3 years tops. I think I've talked about this before. Cousin Jake's got the look. I think he's got the moveset. I think he's insanely good inside the ring. Whenever you see kind of the random tape vignettes, Jake has a lot of charisma that is just ready to bust out. But I think Jake does have some world champion qualities about him. Didn't know Chris Bay and Johnny Swinger were a kind of team up tandem that I wanted to see, but I'm glad to see them on TV. Everything early, Jake looked strong. Thought he was doing an amazing job. Chris B was doing an amazing job, really selling for him. This match really turned. Sorry. This match really turned into, just a top-notch, like 5-star type match. It lasted a long time. It was a back-and-forth battle. Both guys gave each other their best shots. Really, they both looked strong. They both looked like they were determined to win the match. They both looked physically, beaten, burned out, but never died. Swinger was outside, but he really didn't interfere a whole lot, except for kind of that one moment where he jumped up onto the apron. They kind of had this back and forth kind of thing. I just thought it was really, really good. This whole match was awesome. And again, to be honest, I know I keep making these comparisons, but it's only because I just got done watching this on Saturday, and I made a video about it today with AEW's Double or Nothing. And to be honest, this match was better than 4 or 5 other matches on that 3.5 hour pay-per-view. It just was. This is on weekly TV, man. And really, even this specific match had no stakes at all. But this match was insane and good. And Chris Bay ends up winning with the Ultimate Finesser, and I do really like this move. It's a little different. Obviously it's not a super kick. It's not like a Sweet Chin Music or anything like that. But it's kind of like his version of it. And I like it. It's kind of more of like a hesitation, strong kick to the back of the head, back of the neck. But that still is kind of a super kick. It's just done differently. And it's updated, it's modernized, it's good. It could be devastating. And I like it. So Chris Bay gets the win. Good man. Again, I can't talk much more about how good this match was. So after we got a Rohit Raju interview, and all of a sudden Chase Stevens walks up, interrupts him. Find out that next week that's going to be a match now. Rohit versus Chase Stevens. Hopefully this is a Rohit win next week. Man, it better be a fucking win for Rohit. Yeah. Yeah, there's no excuse. If Rohit loses next week, I'm not going to be very happy. But then after this, we get a Kimberly. Freshly off of her beautiful wedding with Zachary Wentz. Obviously, I know this is all taped. But, still. This appearance, this airing of this show is fresh off of her wedding with Zach Wentz. So, congratulations to those two. Many, many good wishes to you guys for your long-lasting love and life together. So, congratulations. But we get Kimberly versus Haddock. Again, I think this is a great match. I think they have great chemistry together. She brings back the brass knuckles again. I like that continuation, the continuity of all that. But after that, I did not see this coming, ladies and gentlemen. But Nevaeh shows up, and Nevaeh actually attacks Kimberly. I would have thought she was going to attack Haddock, because it seemed like she showed up during the Haddock Rosemary match of Rebellion. I kind of thought maybe Nevaeh was there to distract Haddock. Then you have her show up again during her and Kimberly's match. And she was a distraction to allow Kimberly to get the win with the brass knuckles. And then as Kimberly was going up the ramp, kind of blew the kiss to Nevaeh. Almost looked like she was kind of saying yeah, it's us, baby. And then, Nevaeh came in and beat the shit out of Kimberly. And then showed that she's in cahoots and teaming up with Haddock. Now, this is just kind of another thing, too. I mean, you see Tasha Steelz and Keira. Later on, we see a backstage segment where it's Keira and Tasha beating up Suzy and Kylie, which also Suzy and Kylie have kind of had some backstage, back and forth before. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I think we might be seeing the return of the Knockouts Tag Team titles, which I'm all for. I'm cool with that. Let's see it. I'm so down with that. So, after that, again, like I said, we see the backstage segment with Tasha Steelz and Keira against Kylie and Suzy. After they kind of get beaten down, they kind of do this whole, maybe Su Yung's kind of pushing out of Suzy a little bit after she got beat. But, we don't really know. They didn't really go that far. Then we see another North segment again, seeing more Deaners. They kind of play that out throughout the whole thing. Then we get a Joey Ryan and backstage segment with the Kris Brothers, and basically has the Kris Brothers want to come out for his match with Jake, or with Crazy Steve next week. Now, the Kris Brothers also kind of said something about man, this is maybe the thing we wanted. This is what we're looking for. I don't know if I want to see the Kris Brothers join cancer culture. I don't know. I would rather just see the Kris Brothers just kind of go back to being the Kris Brothers and be a badass tag team and really bolster that tag team division. But at the same time, we'll see what happens. All right, we will. We'll see what happens. One thing that Impact has shown me is that they're good at long-term booking and really kind of making sense of what's going on. So, we'll see what happens. But, if I had my preference, I would not want them to join cancer culture. Then we get to the actual Diener Compound segment. And I love it. So many different misdirects, and then finally they show who Wheels is. And surprise, it's a guy that, again, I couldn't remember his name. I tried to look it up. Because I kept trying to look up on Ethan Page's vlogs. I kept trying to search videos I could have sworn I seen him in. And so he's a guy that works at Alpha One. I think he's also one of the guys that works, or not works with, but it's also a fellow figure trader with Ethan. God, I want to say his name is Steve or something. Oh man, I can't remember. But anyway, I thought this whole little segment, the Diener compound match, whatever you want to call it, was absolutely hilarious. Was absolutely great. This is exactly what I want to see from a cinematic thing. Again, I ranted on this a lot in my last video, the AEW Double or Nothing rant. And this match, the Diener compound match, just solidified what I thought. And I don't mind cinematic matches, but make them still be somewhat logical. If you're going to say it's a match, make it still feel like it's a match. I don't care if it's still in a ring or if it goes out. It's just like a false count anywhere match. Still starts in a ring. Maybe it finishes in the ring. It doesn't matter. It still has to be a match. Still has to have fighting. You still cut away and look at all these funny things and the ins and outs and the bells and whistles. It doesn't matter. But the core of it, the nuts and bolts of it, is still a freaking match. It's something that Double or Nothing, the Stampede Stadium match, totally failed at. Was a bunch of crazy spots? Yes. Was it a bunch of great segments that made me laugh? Yes. Was it a match? No. Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania. It was billed as a match. Was it a match? No. I've said this many times. It was a segment to build up to a match. The Last Ride, was it a match? Yes, that was a match. They did that one right. This was that. Still had a logic behind it. And it was good. It was fun. It was funny. So, congratulations to Josh, Ethan, Cody, everybody else that was part of that match. It was fun. It was a good time. And it was a nice change of pace on this show. It really was. It was really, really, really good. Oh yeah, so anyway, the North wins. I guess I should kind of go over that again. The North does win, and the ref that counts 1, 2, 3 is Iceman. Love it, love it, love it. He was still there to count the 1, 2, 3. Even though Ref Cameron was the one that showed up in the very beginning with the wheels. Like, yeah, go ahead, yeah, have wheels. He's like, that's not wheels. He's a ref. So I like all of that. I love how they also still had Iceman in there. So that part was really cool. So then they go to the flashback of Cody Rhodes versus Moose. Okay. And then maybe the highlight of the fucking night, ladies and gentlemen. I've been hoping this is going to be the case, especially if we're talking knockouts. The only problem is, and I actually tweeted at him, hey, anybody else that wants to clip this part, send it to Impact Wrestling. I don't care. Impact Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, Don Callis, whoever is in charge of social media, if it's still Garrett, I don't know. Stop posting clips before they happen on TV. It actually happens quite a bit. Now, Mike, look, I will say this. Little sidebar, if you will. For the last couple years, I've cut the cord. So I don't have actual cable. What I have right now, so I had PlayStation Vue for about 2 years. Right now, for the last year and a half, I've had AT&T TV. Right? So it's, it's still streaming. So maybe I'm just a little behind. But Impact Wrestling's social media posted the Dianna Probs vignette, like, right, literally. So the one segment went to commercial. Within that first commercial, the Dianna Probs segment was uploaded on their Twitter feed. So it ruined the surprise of whenever they came back from commercial that Dianna Probs has signed with Impact Wrestling. Yeah! So happy. Oh, I am seriously so happy. So happy about Dianna Probs coming to Impact Wrestling. Thank you. Again, this knockout roster just keeps blowing up, man. And Dianna is amazing. I mean, the promo she hit in that vignette was great. I already know how good she is in the ring. She's got a huge fucking chip on that shoulder because of what happened with her in NXT and WWE. And I mean, she could have gone anywhere, man. She could have gone to the Ring of Honor, Women of Honor thing, which is, She could have gone to the NWA. She could have gone to AEW, which we all know AEW won her. She chose Impact fucking Wrestling. That's huge. That is super huge, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys don't know who she is, that's fine. Get to know her. Go search her on fucking YouTube and watch some of her matches. She's really, really, really good. And just as a more meta thing on why I'm so happy Dianna chose Impact, is it shows some of these people that constantly shit on Impact Wrestling for no reason whatsoever. Man, she chose Impact. Chose Impact over AEW, over Women of Honor, over NWA, over whatever other companies that you guys, Dirt Sheets, YouTube, wrestling media, wrestling community, whoever wants to think that they're better than Impact. She chose Impact. Sorry, she did. Tennille Dashwood also chose. Jordan Grace also chose. And I know I'm only talking about knockouts, but that don't matter. Because in a day and age like today where everyone wants to talk about how, we need to have an emphasis on women's wrestling, man, Impact's doing that. Impact's been doing that since like 2007. So, you want to keep talking shit, go ahead and keep talking shit. But the Knockouts division ain't going nowhere. And it is clearly now. With Tasha Steelz, Kylie Ray, Su Yung re-signing, Su Yung / Suzy re-signing, Kimberly, Nevaeh. I mean, yeah, knockouts that's where you want to be. That's destination. That's destination employment. So here's the thing. You know, I don't like doing this, but, you know. Hey, Allie. Are you that happy there? Come on back. Candice LeRae, Shannon Baszler, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch. If you ever get, you know, if you ever want to get back in wrestling after having your child, you know, whenever contracts are up, maybe think about greener pastures. And those greener pastures are at Impact Wrestling. Those are just facts. So then after that, as I digress, we see a really good promo with Rosemary and Bravo. You finally have Bravo kind of almost talking bad about Taya and kind of admitting that, you know, she's maybe not good for him and beats him and degrades him and all that stuff. And then she was like, well, you know, you can be with me. And, you know, there's kind of a little different things. So we'll see where that goes. I'm very interested, again, where this goes. If Bravo's going to manage her, how that's going to come off on TV, how that's going to go. I'm intrigued. I am actually very intrigued with that. And then after that, we get, ladies and gentlemen, on a random empty arena COVID-19 Tuesday night show. We get a match of the year candidate. We do. I'm sorry, but we do. There's no way anybody can tell me different. And if you want to, go ahead. Drop it down in the comments. I don't care. Hit me up on Twitter at Anthem of Impact. I don't care. I don't think you're going to change my mind. Michael Elgin. Ever since he has joined Impact Wrestling, and I've been a big fan of his. I wanted him to join Impact for like a very long time. Like a very long time. And it's been a long time, so I can't remember, but I almost want to say Elgin might have. Can't remember. Was Elgin managed by Truth Martini? I can't remember. But I want to say, like, I mean, like, I'm talking like old school Ring of Honor. So, like, where he still had, like, some long hair. You know, I kind of had that Hogan look. The ball with the long hair. But, yeah, anyway. Loved Elgin. Even since then, like, I was like, man, this dude could be badass in Impact Wrestling. And then, of course, you know, his career went a whole lot of different ways. And then went to Japan, was still, like, just tearing it up. And now here he is in Impact Wrestling, tearing it up. This dude just made Trey look like a fucking superstar. And I'm not saying Trey's not on his own. He is also very good. But you gotta have, like, Trey doesn't become this, like, overall superstar with his body size if you don't have somebody that's the size that maybe you like in Michael Elgin, like a Moose. You know, you have your bigger heavyweights. Really put him over. Have a good match with him. Then that's whenever a guy that's a little bit smaller, like a Trey Miguel, be, you know, seen by the consumers, by us, the audience, as a guy that could go toe-to-toe now with anybody. Now Trey could be a guy that wins an Impact Wrestling Championship. And Michael Elgin did it. Michael Elgin did it. I mean, he made him look phenomenal. He did. The match was super physical, but super awesome. There were a couple times that I do wish that Michael wouldn't sell certain moves, because I don't think there was enough of a setup to weaken him enough to then sell those moves. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not a wrestler. I don't know that much about it. I'm just a consumer. So obviously I'm just talking from a fan's perspective. But at the end of the day, you know, I even tweeted this out. Like, I started thinking about this. Like, once the match kind of started, I was like, oh. You know, Elgin and Moose have kind of been having some conversation a lot here lately. Obviously, at the end of Rebellion, you had Moose and him really kind of have this big, huge microphone confrontation. And then, obviously, the 3-game match with Hernandez. And then, obviously, again, Impact's long-term storytelling. Ace and Trey with the whole mom thing and the X Division Championship belt and that whole storyline that was really never resolved. It's like, wow. Either Moose is going to get involved, or maybe Ace is going to get involved, or maybe both will get involved and cause maybe Trey to win. That could be crazy. And then Elgin goes after Moose. Ace and Trey go to the finals, and they blow off kind of their story that they're telling. But it wasn't. It was I See You. It was Sami Callihan. Sami, his ICU thing came over the thing and blacked out the ring and blah, 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 blah. Distraction. The short, quick schoolboy roll-up. Trey beats Michael Elgin. And unlike anywhere else, baby, Impact Wrestling in the finals for the World Heavyweight Championships, #1 contendership to go face Tessa Blanchard, Ace Austin versus Trey from the Rascals. What? I mean, that's insane. Wow. I mean, what a night of professional wrestling. What a night of professional wrestling. So good. So good. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is what happened on tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling on Access TV. I thought it was just a great night of pro wrestling. Some good stories being told. I cannot wait until next Tuesday. I mean, again, it's a Tuesday night. It's 2 hours. It's on cable television, and they're putting on pay-per-view quality shows during empty arena match era, if you will. And they're doing it the best. They just are. They're doing it the best without having to put people in the stands. They're not putting fake people out in the stands, and they're still killing it. They are. It's crazy. So, I've been going for a while. It's about 50 minutes long now. Yeah. I'm going to stop it here, so. Hope everybody enjoyed tonight. Can't wait to talk about next week. Just Impact, keep knocking it out of the park, people. And, yeah, it's going to be good things, man. I just hope that, the other kind of bigger wrestling journalists, wrestling media, wrestling YouTubers will, finally catch on and help get Impact more viewership, help Impact get more just everything because they're missing out on some great product. They really, really are. So, until next week, everybody, man. Impact Nation. Peace.